How will I know if I have a drinking problem? Is it a problem yet, or will it become one? I get asked this question almost every day. Now, some people will tell you that if you have to ask, you have a problem. I don't think this is necessarily the case. I think sometimes we're exploring our thinking. Maybe it's not a problem yet, but you can see how it could be. So, as a good rule of thumb, I prefer the alcohol use disorder spectrum as laid out in the DSM-5. I think it's a great tool for us to understand where we're at in our alcohol use and how it is problematic in our lives. But I do have a simple tool that I use, which is if you're using alcohol as a tool in your life, as a resource in your life, it's usually a pretty good indication that you have already or will develop reliance on alcohol. Here's the thing. If we're using alcohol to relax or to fit in, to escape, to solve a problem, to quiet our voices, to quiet our brains, right? This is a clear indicator that you're developing some reliance, some dependence and addiction to alcohol. The real problem with this is you won't actually develop the coping skills you need to do those things. You'll short circuit the process of learning. I did this when I first started drinking. I was 19, I was going to college, I was worried about my social life, I was worried about who I was and if I was going to fit in. And so when I found alcohol, it helped me feel like I was fitting. It helped me be more outgoing, helped me be the life of the party. And then I became reliant on that. I also used it for stress relief and to escape my thoughts. And so I became more and more dependent on it over time. My brain learned that alcohol was the solution to these things. Over time, the issue becomes that you just don't develop the coping skills that you need. So if you're at the point where you're like, alcohol is doing these things for me, I rely on it for X, Y, and Z, especially if you're a young person and you're looking at your relationship with alcohol and you're like, maybe this is going to be a problem. Might be a really good chance to step back and reassess how you're using alcohol as a tool in your life. Not just enjoyment, but using it to do something. If this is something you'd like to explore, we can talk about 100 Days of Sobriety Coaching. We could do an insight session, just a 90-minute session that you can book on my website where you can talk about where you're at in your relationship and maybe get some skills and tools that you could use to break this relationship down a little bit. You could also join an online community. I've got one. It's called Embrace Your Today, and it's all about how you're going to live your life. We meet 5 times a week on that program. If you'd like information about any of this or just have questions, let me know. Be happy to answer.